Now buckle up, we're getting straight into it. Brandon Miller and Chet Holmgren's performances were interesting to say the least. With Brandon Miller and Chet Holmgren, my thing is, and this is just my thing, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, Happy 4th of July, whatever you want to call it. Hey man, all I know is we're at the halfway point to Christmas, which is the best time of the year. Is there any other better time of the year than Christmas? There's not. But anyways, that's besides the point. And also, I find this so funny because in America, for the other 364 days of the year, everybody's going at each other's necks. We're talking about how terrible the country is. But on July 4th, every single person's like, yeah, baby, America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. We're the best country in the world. If you're not from America, I don't even know how to explain it. If you are from America, which most of us are, you already know. It's just so funny, man, because we have so many differences. But when it comes to our country, we don't play. Okay, that's enough chitter chatter, Matt. Sorry about that. Let's lock in and let's get down to business. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not only is it the 4th of July, it's also that time of the year where everybody overreacts to the Summer League. Come on, man, don't act brand new. Same bullcrap, just a different year. We do this every single year. To all the new rookies that just get drafted, we try to project whether they're going to be a bust or a superstar just off of 1 to 2 preseason, or not preseason games, Summer League games that really don't even matter. But guess what? It's the only real sport that's being played. We're in the worst time of the summer. It's something like, I think, a 73-day drought without NFL, college football, college basketball, or NBA basketball. From the end of June to the end of August is terrible for sports. And I said that a couple weeks ago, and I had multiple people comment and send me stuff on Twitter saying, Matt, what are you talking about? The NHL is on. The NHL? What do I look like? I don't care about hockey. I'm not saying hockey isn't a big deal, but for our community, it's not a big deal. And for me personally, no, it's not a big deal. I'm from the Southeast, and nobody in the Southeast really cares about hockey. Maybe that's a big time thing in your northern states, I guess like Michigan and New York and all those states up there, but Southeast, not really. Like I was saying though, the Summer League's on, and people, they're already overreacting, and I'm going to do the same thing in this video because I'm a professional overreactor. Y'all know this. And let me say this before we go even farther because I know I'm going to forget. The Summer League isn't that big of a deal. I personally don't think it's a big deal. I don't care if Brandon Miller went out there and scored 0 points in 4 straight games. I seriously could care less. It's not a big deal to me. It just isn't. But like I said, I'm a professional overreactor, so let's get into this. Last night before I went to the gym, I had some free time, so I was cooking up some chicken and rice, and I watched Brandon Miller and Chet Holmgren's games. And oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing no intro, none of that. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste. We're jumping straight into things. If you like the content, consider joining our community. We'd love to have you here. Now buckle up. We're getting straight into it. Brandon Miller and Chet Holmgren's performances were interesting to say the least. Where do y'all want to start with this? You know what? Let's go with Brandon Miller. You know who Brandon Miller is. Number 2 pick in the draft. He was awesome at Alabama. There's a lot of upside. The dude can play, man. The dude can play. And I think my opinion holds a lot of weight on Brandon Miller because I watched every single one of his games at Alabama. Every single one. I didn't miss a single game. And if you're wondering why, it's because I'm an Alabama fan. Duh. And I've come to find out a lot of people that tuned in to watch him play last night, they didn't watch this guy at Bama. Because if you watch Brandon Miller play at Alabama, not just once, but multiple times, you know the way he played last night, that's how he played at Bama. I'm not going to say he's inconsistent, but he's the definition of streaky. No lie, this isn't an exaggeration whatsoever. At Alabama, I've seen Brandon Miller miss 10 straight threes. But then, right after missing 10 straight, I've seen him hit 7 in a row. And in one game, I remember this so vividly, at halftime, he was like 1 for 8 from the field, 0 for 4 on threes, and had 2 points. And he wound up finishing that same game with 32 points, scoring 30 in the second half, and making 5 straight threes. I've never seen a player as streaky as Brandon Miller in my life. And I'm not going to call him inconsistent because you can always count on him scoring anywhere from 15 to 25 points per game. Even at Alabama, he had games where he was 4 for 11 and ended up scoring 25 points. How does that happen? It's because he always gets to the free throw line. And that's what happened last night for the Hornets. I watched the game. He didn't even play that good. And you look up at the stat sheet, dude's got 18 points. And that just goes to show you how talented he is. When he doesn't quote-unquote play that good, still scoring 18, 20 points. And matter of fact, I don't even know what his stats were from last night. I just watched the game. I don't get caught up into the numbers too much. Let's check them out. Got it pulled up right here. 5 for 11 on the field. Pretty solid. 3 for 7 on threes. That's over 40%. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and wait, he had 7 fouls? What? I think in the Summer League you get 10 fouls. But yeah, everybody on Twitter was like, man, Brandon Miller, he's looking rough. He's looking like a bust. And you look at his stat sheet, No, he played fine. And I can't emphasize that enough. That's how Brandon Miller was at Alabama. And there were so many games last year for Alabama where it didn't seem like he did anything. And you look at the stat sheet, he's got 25 points. And also, this is just how social media works. These casuals and people just want clicks and views posting stuff like this. I mean, this got over 5 million views. Brandon Miller in his summer league debut. 18 points, 6 turnovers, 7 fouls. Like, okay, who cares about the fouls? And here's why I'm not making a big deal about this. 6 turnovers in the NBA game, yeah, it might worry me, but it's the summer league. I'm not going to sit up here and overreact. Brandon Miller is still Brandon Miller. But here's what I will say to all my Charlotte Hornets fans. You're in for a bumpy ride with Brandon Miller just because of the streaky shooting. Have y'all ever seen that clip? It's in The Last Dance, I believe, where Roy Williams, he's talking about Michael Jordan, and he stated, and it gives me chills even till this day, that Michael Jordan was the only player he ever saw that could turn it on and off, and he never freaking turned it off. And that's what he said word for word. He said he never freaking turned it off. Well, with Brandon Miller, he does have that on and off switch, but it's not always on. That would worry me if I'm a fan because I think it's going to take him a couple of years to get used to the NBA. I would say a similar comparison just as far as the entering that Kobe Bryant mode is Jason Tatum. Because sometimes Jason Tatum has it, sometimes you question him. And I'm not saying I question Jason Tatum's game, but he doesn't have that kill switch on 24/7. It's the same thing for Brandon Miller. I love him. His potential is through the roof, but I just wish he would always have that switch on. Because when he's on, he's on, and I'll leave it at that. He's a young guy, though, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I do think he's a work in progress. He's not a guy that's going to come into the league and dominate it in year one like LeBron. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to take Brandon Miller at least 2 years to get used to the NBA and the flow. But it's the Charlotte Hornets. They're not trying to win a championship in the next couple of years anyway, so they'll be fine. Now let's move on to Chet Holmgren. This one's really interesting as well. So I guess we'll just pull up the stats first. Yeah, he had 15 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, 2 assists. This one's fascinating because, as most of you should know, Chet Holmgren didn't even play last year because of his injury problem. So technically, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he'll be a rookie this year. So pretty much we're evaluating him just like these new rookies that just got drafted. It's going to be his first year in the NBA. And keep in mind, he's coming off of a big-time injury. 15 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, 2 assists. That's solid. And numbers ain't everything. You had to watch the game, and he passed the eye test for me. I thought he looked okay. That's all I'm going to give him. Okay, because I know he can do way better. But with Chet, I just have a hard time believing he's going to be some superstar or even some big-time all-star. I think he can be good, and I want to believe he can be great, but I got to see it. It's not that I don't believe he's not a talented basketball player. I do, but I don't see how he's going to stay healthy. His frame concerns me, but I will say this. He is an elite rim protector, and you saw that last night on some of those blocks. Man, he had one block. He went out there with 2 hands. Whew. It was nasty. But all in all, for Chet's performance last night, as much as I like to sit up here and talk and analyze stuff, I think it's rather simple and self-explanatory. If I can keep things short and simple, that's what I want to do. I think it was okay, and coming off an injury, I would give him a B+. I came off injuries myself, and a lot of people don't understand how hard that first couple of games are getting back. It just takes a while to get back in flow, and he looked like he never got hurt, to be honest. But my thing with Chet is, and let me know in the comment section, I don't know what our expectations are for him. Is it all-star or bust? Is it superstar or bust? What are we looking for? He was drafted high, so I assume if this guy's not at bare minimum a 20-point, I'd say 13 rebound, 5 assist guy, he's a bust. And yeah, he looked decent against the NBA Summer League, but we all know the real NBA regular season is going to be much harder. It's a tough evaluation, it really is, because we don't exactly see really skinny guys like that terrorizing the NBA or even being really successful. I'm trying to think, is there a guy that skinny doing really well in the NBA? I don't know. I don't think there is outside of Bobo, and he ain't doing too great. I think he's doing good, but not great. All in all, for these two guys, as much as people want to criticize them and they were waiting for them to have bad games, unfortunately, they didn't, and there's nothing bad you can say about them. Chet Holmgren played solid, and Brandon Miller played solid, and that's all there is to it. With Brandon Miller and Chet Holmgren, my thing is, and this is just my thing, I think we need to see a little bit more. That's how I feel about it. And wait a minute, hold on, whoa, what is this? The national I just got tagged in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest has been canceled due to lightning and weather conditions. What? No, man, this is the worst 4th of July ever. You can't cancel that. Oh, no way, man, no way. I ain't gonna lie though, does it even matter? Because Joey Chestnut was gonna win it anyways. Yep, this 4th of July is already off to a terrible start. Hope this video made it slightly better. Alright, let me know your thoughts down below. But,